So now, with great formality, let's introduce each other to the whole internet.
Yeah.
You, Darren, are a friend of Robert Farrar's, aren't you?
I am a friend of Robert Farrar's, but he's a terribly long way away. He's in Berlin and I'm in Nottingham, so we don't see each other so often. But we do, obviously, we do this.
We hook up by video, don't we?
Yeah, yeah.
And you're an all-round, you could say, creative Renaissance man, in a sense. I don't know, all round, like maybe half the way round.
Well, there's a halfness to it, definitely. Yeah, yeah.
Because you are half unusual.
I am half unusual. I am indeed half unusual, which is a very peculiar name, but it's kind of part of what the project is. It's half unusual. This does what it says on the tin. So yeah.
Very good. And you also paintbrush.
I am Paintbrush ASMR as well, yes. So there's two different channels doing quite different things. And interestingly, we're just about to launch into May, aren't we? And there's a kind of a bit of a celebration thing happening on Paintbrush ASMR. There's going to be a video every single day, a long form video every single day.
And at the end of May, you're going to be up there in the top 10 YouTubers, probably.
Well, let's hope so. But interestingly, at the end of May, and this is top secret. Well, it's not top secret anymore because it's about to be broadcast. But every day in June, half unusual is going to be taking every day in May and doing something with it. So there's something kind of exciting about those two months.
Wow!
Yeah.
Wow!
Let's see how it goes. Yeah.
I feel very old-fashioned with my tarot cards when you're doing such avant-garde things. But you're also. I mean, is this video sort of? Is it for the Tea and Tarot channel, or is it also for your channel? Does it have dual purpose, or what?
I think it's for both, to be honest, because we did our little practice video, and my version of things went down really well on the Half Unusual channel.
Okay.
And so there's something about. Yes, it's a conversation, but also conversations can be glitched and made strange, and so there's something really fascinating about what it's done already, you know, and the big promise, obviously, for the viewers on Half Unusual is and Tea and Tarot is that there's going to be a reading. It's like, and that's very exciting. It's kind of I have friends who saw the taster videos and said, "Oh, I can't wait till the reading." So yeah, that is really exciting. Yeah.
So it's like I'm going to draw a circle on the floor and a demon is
exactly
a demon is going to appear.
Yes, and it's going to be on this video, and that's quite exciting.
In a column of smoke.
Yeah, yeah, and if it doesn't happen like that, then we'll have to AI it in.
If it doesn't happen, the new age is off.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I should introduce myself to your many viewers, which is I'm Robert, and I have a tarot channel called Tea and Tarot.
Fantastic.
And I am. What am I? I'm. I'm writing a book about tarot at the moment, and as I've been writing it for many years, but I've been writing it at the same time as doing the channel. And as I do the channel, the more I've done the channel, I've been also reading at the same time, so that I don't disgrace myself. So I did a fair amount of research, and the more research I did, the more I realised that I both do and don't believe in the codswallop. Mm-hmm. So in other words, I've always read tarot cards, and I've always found they work rather well. But there's a huge amount of sort of esoteric background noise that goes on, you know, in any new age subject. And the more I looked into it, the more I thought, I sort of don't really buy into it, really, and I don't think you need to either.
Sure.
And I think one thing that's happened, you know, if we have gone into a new age, is that things have sort of become a bit looser and a bit more democratic. And I think that it is my sort of the basic tenet of my book is that it's possible to read tarot without really having any esoteric background at all.
Sure.
If you got your pack of cards, mm-hmm. and you've got a little slim book of card meanings. They're like little hieroglyphics.
Sure.
And then you just pop them down onto the table as if they're just like an alphabet, and you say, "Oh, it means that," and then how that is happening is a different question. But again, you don't need to answer the question of how it's happening to do it.
That's really fascinating, and it's interesting because you did a mini description in our practice video that I've really reflected on, and there was something. It hit me in the shower this morning. Everything hits me in the shower. In the mornings, there's my thinking time, and I was thinking, this is interesting that the half unusual project and what it thinks about music is very similar to Robert's Tea and Tarot channel and what he thinks about tarot. You know, there's something about the mysteriousness of music that can be taken on many levels, and so there's something about that, you know, approaching something that's a little bit mysterious, like music, for example, and or tarot, and actually not really worrying whether you're doing it right. You're doing it. However, in whatever peculiar way you're doing it, and so for me, there's definitely something about the edges of things that I find fascinating. There's something about where music meets non-music, and so I guess the parallel for the tarot thing is where the new age people who buy into the tarot meet the people who don't, and yet it's still tarot, and yet it still does what it does, and it's really interesting.
It's so much a matter of how you frame it and which words you use and so forth, you know, because, for example, we've got Pamela Coleman Smith's lovely Rider-Waite-Smith deck here, which for me is like the basic modern tarot deck. And I've got, this is a redrawing. This is the what's it called? The Albano Waite recolored version from the 60s. So it's a bit crazy. It's great.
Okay.
This is the King of Swords, which I just drew before we started. Actually, it was. I'll tell you why I drew it later. But, you know, she came from a very esoteric background. She was in the Secret Order of the Golden Dawn, you know, with Aleister Crowley and all the other guys. And they had done all this, all through the 18th and 19th century, there was all this fiendish esoteric activity going on. And they had drawn up all these ideas that tarot would correspond with astrology and correspond with Kabbalah and correspond with all sorts of exciting things, numerology and so forth. And which I want to let go of. I strongly want to let go of, because it drives me up the wall and round the bend. And the more I look into it, the less convinced I am that the things do link up very well. But there's Pamela, and I think a highly psychic, highly original person, and a very modern person, creating this deck, and she's very good on the court cards. So she's been told by the Golden Dawn to use their ideas. So she's working on the idea that the suit of swords corresponds with the element of air. Fair enough. So there's birds and clouds, and there's little butterflies on the back of the throne, and so you've got all this stuff. And you could say that he's an air sign. You could say he's Aquarian. You know, you could say, you know, he's Gemini. All these things, and I think that's interesting. You could say he's got also connections with King David in the Bible, I think. So there's all these masses of meanings that have been thrown onto playing cards and tarot cards over the centuries, even though originally tarot cards are just playing cards. They're not esoteric originally. But I think all this esoteric sort of flotsam and jetsam is good stuff. You throw it at the wall, you know, throw it at the wall. Why not? You know,
see what happens.
And see what happens, because it's colourful and it's a bit random and it's a bit mad, and it's not. I mean, the esoteric people, some of them were very intellectual, but they were dealing with mad elements, you know. They're dealing with elements which are basically completely illogical, and then they tried to force them into these systems. And what you get is it's really interesting and really colourful, and it's very good for divination, I think.
Cool.
So I kind of occupy this space between two worlds where I really like the tarot, and I'm fairly fond of astrology. I dislike Kabbalah. I've got I dislike alchemy, and so I've got these tastes, and none of it matters. The only thing that matters is that if the process does something to my brain to make it more interesting than it was.
Cool. And so, did you pick that card for this reading, or for?
I did.
That's interesting. I mean, what did it tell you? What did it tell us?
Well, I had a 3-card reading, basically. 1 card for you, 1 card for me, and 1 card for the video.
Cool.
So the demon is already materializing.
Oh, was it? Did I get death again? I always get death.
That's what I got. So okay. I got the 2 of Swords, which is the person who's holding it all together.
Okay.
In a rather uncomfortable way. So I've been running around. I had an exciting but heavy weekend, and a little bit of nervous exhaustion, and a little bit of tummy feeling strange. And then Achim and I went to Bauhaus today. So I flew into this session thinking, I hope I can hold it together. So this is Brilliant. The lady here holding it together. She's holding these 2 swords, and it's really, really quite uncomfortable. And she's got a blindfold on, but she's a balance keeper. And you just got the King of Swords. That's completely full on. So you are the wise modern, peacemaker.
Brilliant.
Quite philosophical there. That's the mood that you've seemed to be in, or that's what the tarot thinks of you today. Cool. Anyway.
Nice.
And the Lovers reversed. That's quite interesting, a bit provocative. The Lovers is a decision, and you have to make a decision, but it's reversed. Mm-hmm. So I heard Abba in the background saying, "It ain't no big decision." So I don't have to make a big decision.
Sure.
And maybe you don't have to make a big decision to make this video interesting.
Sure.
We don't have to invent the wheel or decide. We don't have to decide whether tarot is nonsense or not.
Sure. Absolutely. Yeah, totally. Well, our viewers can decide.
Our viewers
from this video.
Some of them already have.
Possibly. The ones that aren't here anymore, possibly.
Well,
if
the
you're
ones
still here, thank you.
They might still be here.
Yes.
They might still be here. So yeah. And what I also got, I'm a bit of a devil. I thought, so that's the first reading. And I almost thought that maybe a bell could ring every 5 minutes, and then I could draw another card. But I have a system as well, because I don't normally just draw cards while talking, but I've got 2 decks here. I've got this other deck, a real rarity that I got just like a week ago. It's from the 70s. It's called the Hoi Polloi, and it's old-fashioned, completely out of print. It's the same deck, but again a hippie recoloring. And I've wanted it for years. This is a reprint from the 21st century, but this one, the Hoi Polloi, is the real thing. It's never been reprinted. And I sold like 4 or 5 tarot decks that I didn't want to be able to afford this.
Wow, cool.
And so it's really mad recoloring, and it's kind of vulgar and kind of sort of vulgarized version. But I thought I'd have the Hoi Polloi on the left, and the what's it called? The albino weight on the right. So they're 2 recolorings actually.
Cool. Okay.
Even though this is an original and this is a reprint.
Yeah.
And I thought as we go through, I'd allow the Hoi Polloi to ask a question.
Okay.
And then I would allow the albino weight to suggest an answer. Shall I try one now?
That sounds fantastic. I love it. I love it already.
So the 9 of Wands from the Hoi Polloi.
Okay.
That entrenchment, which can be either good or bad. So, okay. So what is entrenched? Oh.
What is entrenched? Oh.
Well, the 8 of Swords is the lady who's tied up.
Okay.
But that, I would say that's I don't know, restriction. But they're the same kind of feeling, except that this guy has put himself into a position of strength. He's built a fort for himself, but it's cut him off from growth. Whereas this woman is feeling ashamed, and she's in a red dress, so she might be feeling ashamed of her desires, and that's really repressing her. So she's restricted, but she's also repressed. So this is a nastier card. So there's what's entrenched? Well, restriction is entrenched. That's the first mnemonic phrase for the session.
Wow, that's it. Well, it might come into more focus as the other cards come down. Maybe.
It might.
Yeah.
It might. But I mean, that was an example.
Sure.
So, as I said, we could have a bell ringing every 5 minutes.
Yeah, I like that. I like the idea of the 70s deck just kind of being, I don't know, imbued with aura, isn't it? Because it's original and there's something really nice about that. And presumably that's what that does to you as the reader. You know, that it's kind of, it adds a little.
Yeah.
It's nice. Yeah, it's nice.
Well, I've got still got my first ever deck, which I got as a teenager, and that's also from the 70s, and that's been reprinted. But this one kind of disappeared, and I mean, like a few years ago, you could get this for 20 quid on eBay, this old one, and now you have to pay 100 because everything from the 70s, as the 70s like drifts gracefully away into the past. Everything from the 70s becomes a treasure, right?
Yeah, brilliant. Yeah. Fantastic. Wow.
So,
I guess that my question is about the question. My question is what the question is. Sorry. So it's kind of like you have the cards, but it's like, are we talking about this video? Are we talking about the relationship between half unusual and tea and tarot? Or are we talking about half unusual? So there's something about what that applies to, but maybe that's nice to be left open in a weird way too.
Yeah. Well, I mean, but there are other things. There are other ways of reading cards. I mean, you can have, for example. I won't show you what the cards are, but one spread, which I kind of invented, but it's so basic. I can't really say how I invented it. So this is a hoi polloi card, and this is an albino weight card. You can say, well, that's the underlying issue here. And that's the tarot's advice.
Okay.
So, for example, if someone comes online and says, "Oh, I don't know what to do with my job," you know, there's lots of spreads you can do, but sometimes it's really nice just to go very, very simple. Or what can I do about this love affair, which is an impossible question to answer.
Sure.
But you can say, okay, let's go in at a slight angle and say, well, what's the underlying issue of the job or the love affair? And then you get a card for that. And then usually with the same deck, you'd say, and what's the advice? And then you get a card for that. So before this video started, I was thinking about how can I sort of dovetail tarot readings into a conversation. So both those two ideas, like the question and the answer, or the issue and the advice, they're both very, very basic 2-card readings. You know, I mean, some people are so good at tarot that they just they just chat and they're just turning cards over. You know, and they give you all their wisdom. Do you remember Ruth in Brighton?
I do. Yes, I do remember Ruth. Yeah.
She was
amazing.
A great tarot reader, and she retired. She wasn't elderly. She retired quite young to become. I don't want to dox her, but she wanted a steady job. She was a mum with kids, and I think she felt that she needed to have a steady income, and she couldn't be, you know, mucking around with tarot cards. But she was such a brilliant reader.
Yeah.
She picked names and things out of thin air, and she was just turning the cards over.
Yeah.
Saying, "Oh, look," and then she'd say something like, "Well, I'd expect to see an ace in this reading." And she'd turn the next card over. So she didn't really need the cards in a way.
No. I had a reading with Ruth, and it was extraordinary. And interestingly, it was quite a while back. but really fascinatingly, I do reflect on that reading often. I don't remember the details of it, to be honest, but there are some things that kind of go, oh, that was the kind of many years later, and it's I guess we make sense of things over time. But yeah, really fascinating. And I have a friend of mine that I see from time to time, and whenever we meet, it's become a habit that she brings along a tarot deck and all different types of tarot. And I think I tend to send you a picture of the one that she's brought after it. And some of them are quite crazy, and some of them aren't really tarot decks. They're kind of like card decks and things. But it's really nice that we always both pick a card and just look at what it means. And it's I guess what that does is just gives us a bit of something to think about for that period of time, sort of thing. It's nice. It's really nice. Yeah.
Well, anything to get one out of one's rut. I remember you did a show in Nottingham once, didn't you? And it was called Silting Down.
It was, yeah.
And at the end, after all the marvelous things that happened in your show, I think you had, maybe I'm dreaming this, but what I remember was maybe a projection at the back of the theatre saying "do something different."
It did, yes. That was right at the heart of the show. Yeah.
Do something different.
Yeah.
I thought, well, that's what one sort of what is what's the word? Stimulating is to sort of be knocked out of one's rut, right?
Sure.
And I think it's for me, that has to be the basic idea of tarot cards, that random cards on the table, that they can't fail to knock you out of your rut.
Sure.
If you turn up at all,
Sure. I have a friend who did that show, who experienced that show, and they came out going, "Thank you so much, I've redesigned my kitchen." they had this real problem going into the show of their kitchen needed redesigning. They just couldn't figure it out, and so that apparently, as far as they're concerned, the show kind of like bubbled it all to the surface. And it's I thought that was quite a nice result, even if it was just one kitchen out of the show. Maybe that's good enough for me.
Well, sometimes when I listen to classical music, I'm all right for a couple of movements, but get into the third movement, I start designing my kitchen and stuff.
Right, yes.
And I think my brain is quite stimulated, especially something like Mozart, because I like Mozart. And I think he stimulates one's sort of sense of structure, doesn't he, in a way, because he's such a structure fiend. And so he puts his tentacles into your brain and sort of like little sort of prods in your various parts of your brain, and you come out and you've designed your kitchen.
Yeah. That's nice. I mean, maybe the rut that you were talking about is those first two cards. Maybe that's what that was saying. It kind of like, this the first point is moving yourself out of where you are, sort of thing. And again,
yes.
And I guess that's what half unusual tries to do. Kind of, it's not your standard music, but deliberately so. It's deliberately kind of like, oh, is this music? It kind of is this, kind of, if you're going along with a view of what it should be. I'm hopefully going to take that away from you. Yeah.
What was it? One of your I think it was one of your shorts that you recently did, or maybe it was did you do a long version of this glitching?
Yes, I think I did. There was a long and a short, yeah.
The long glitch.
Yeah.
I liked music very much on that one.
Right, yes, yeah.
It was a bit more towards Hans Zimmer,
Sure.
It was a bit more towards the the elves have got to leave Middle Earth, which is not usually your thing, is it?
No, absolutely not. Totally not. And
But I saw the elves leaving Middle Earth.
But there was something nice about that video, because we both had the same material, and there was a video went up on both channels, and they were pretty different, weren't they? Even though it was the same conversation. I thought that was really fascinating, the different approaches and how appropriate they were to the channel. And I hope that some people hopped. I hope some people hopped to your channel and vice versa to kind of go, let's see what's happening. Yeah.
I would if I was a punter.
Yeah. No, fascinating, really fascinating. Yeah.
Well, I guess I'll get my book written eventually.
How far is it? Is it?
Well, it was finished, and then I was writing it with a co-writer, a very dear friend, and then I had sort of like lured him into my web, into my tarot web, because he's not a tarot reader, even though he's an artist and he's worked with various card systems and things. And I lured him in because he's such a good philosopher. I said, "Oh, please, why don't you write a book about tarot with me?" And he said, "I don't know anything about tarot." And I sort of persuaded him, and he did write half a book and I wrote half the book. And then he got more involved in his art and got very busy with some exhibitions and very exciting things. And eventually he set me free, and he left the project, and I was left with half a book. And that was my opportunity to basically, I'm rewriting it, almost the whole thing. I don't think there's a few bits I'm keeping from the first version.
Okay.
But I must have started it about 4 years ago, when my channel was quite young, and I've now done so much more reading. I've done so much more reading of books, reading of cards, talking to people online, getting feedback. I've finally read about bloody Aleister Crowley and getting my opinions on esoterica and stuff. That now my tone is completely different. I'm starting again, but also I'm much more fluent now. I'm a more fluent writer.
Cool. That sounds
and
good.
I've written a novel in the meantime, so I nearly had a nervous breakdown, basically working out how to write proper English prose, because I've never really done that. And so now I can write my tarot book in proper English prose with little jokes and things.
I was about to ask whether it was in English or German.
Oh no, it's in English.
It's in English, right? Okay.
I only write bad German. But I think tarot books can be quite short because you can have large pictures of tarot cards in them.
Right, okay, yeah.
Each one takes up a page, so
Sure.
You've already got 78 pages.
Sure.
So if you can write like 100 pages, then you've got a book.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be, and also I believe in keeping things simple. I don't want to drown the reader in information.
Sure. No, that'd be great. So it's basically your advice on determining what the cards mean.
Yeah, I think I'm going to call it how to learn how to read tarot cards without having a nervous breakdown. Because
has it just told you that we're running out of time?
How dare it? Yeah,
I think
10 minutes.
Yeah, we have 10 minutes left. Quick.
That's not it. Can we start again though afterwards?
I think so. I think we maybe just need to start another meeting. But yeah, I think
I'm just getting going. Just getting. So yes, how to learn how to read tarot cards without having a nervous breakdown, because there are books in the world, right? And I have one right here, designed to give you a nervous breakdown. This is my bête noire.
78 Degrees of Wisdom, not 50 Shades of Grey.
No, it might as well be. And there's this book, and there's also Alexandra Jodorowsky's book, and they're like fiendishly esoteric.
Okay.
And there's this woman, Rachel Pollack. She says, get the major arcana, 22 cards, throw out the Fool, so there's only 21 cards, and then lay them down in 3 rows of 7, and then read the columns, vertically. Card 1 and card 8 and card 15, they'll all be strangely connected, strange esoteric connections. And I think this is nonsense. And the other writer who's very guilty of this is Jodorowsky. And he says, get the major arcana, all 22 cards. So he includes the Fool this time. Lay them down in 2 rows of 11. And now read the columns, card 0 and card 11 and card 2 and card 12. And they're strangely connected. So both books do only that, and she's like, add that number to that number,
right,
and then multiply by that number, and then oh my god, it makes that, and Secret of Life, and it just, and none of it is explained or justified, and and there's so many assumptions in the background, and I've made a video on this, which is one of my perennials. It keeps on giving. It's been popular for years. Because this is the most hyped book on tarot in the West, in the English-speaking world, right? It Googles up, it's the number 1, and it's what everyone buys. And I get messages from people who wanted to read tarot cards, bought this book and gave up, right? And threw their tarot cards away. They just think, oh my God, I can't possibly read tarot cards.
Wow.
So it's a book whose job is to make it look more difficult.
Wow, so that's the opposite of what it's supposed to do, isn't it? You know, if you want people to engage with something, then it's interesting.
And I should stop bitching about that book, but I can't. But I can't really, because in a sense, my position as a tarot reader is very much defined by my opposition to this book.
So is your title going to be a play on the title of that, inverted in some way? No.
Well, I went quite near there by mistake, and I thought, no, I don't want to refer to that book at all.
Sure.
Because I don't want. But I feel that the clock has pinged.
Okay.
So I think that let's do a slightly different reading this time.
Okay.
The underlying theme and the advice. Okay. Okay. So the hoi polloi says the underlying theme is the high priestess, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the advice is the sun reversed. Well, the high priestess could be read in two different ways. You could say that she symbolizes the esoteric, but I reject that, and I think she symbolizes the hidden, what is not known. So the issue is the hidden, and the advice is reversed sun. So the reversed sun is, well, the sun is the safe space. So the reverse sun is don't play it safe, I suppose. Something like that. And I'm trying to keep these things very, very simple, like fortune cookies.
Sure.
But I think that does relate to what we were talking about, because we were talking about the esoteric.
Sure, yeah.
We were talking about, you see, what I accuse this book of is obfuscation, right? So this high priestess is like behind the veil, you know.
Okay.
The hidden mysteries behind the veil. But this reverse sun is quite interesting in that respect.
So the reverse sun again,
I would say don't play it safe.
Don't play it safe. Interesting.
If that's an advice card. So, and what that makes me think about tarot is this: that I've always been quite sort of in my head, even though I'm not sort of classic intellectual, but in my head I'm a bit kind of like, I want to get things right, you know, and I want structure. And I did a live stream with my subscribers, and they were saying, we were talking about spreads, you know, the horseshoe spread, the Celtic cross spread, where each position means something. But some of my subscribers, some of my friends online, they don't use spreads. They practice wild. Is it not wild? That's my version of it. It's like freestyle. They're like Ruth. They just put the cards down and just like channel.
Sure.
And that for me is terrifying because there's no structure. But if the tarot says don't play it safe,
well, maybe that's it.
And maybe the answer is just tossing the cards down on the table.
Go for it. Well, you said earlier on, kind of throw it at the wall, see what happens. You know, there's definitely something. It definitely aligns with what half unusual is all about. It's kind of this idea of not playing it safe. I mean, sometimes I'll get to the end of creating a piece of music. And think, oh, I've taken it too far. You know, it's just too. And then there's a little voice that comes up in my head saying, no, do it. You know, this is. You know, you have permission to do this because you're half unusual. You know, that's the whole point. And so there's something really fascinating about that. And quite often, the ones that I'm slightly nervous about putting out, thinking that's just a little bit too mad. Get interesting comments or many views, or you know, something about it. It's like, oh well, that's a surprise. It's a surprise that kind of landed for people. So there's something really fascinating about that. So I like not feeling in control. I like kind of feeling like this isn't me. You know, this is a conversation beyond what I'm doing, sort of thing. So it's interesting.
Yeah, it's very true that it's not the conscious. It's not really the conscious intention that makes, for example, art, is it? It's partly the process, but it's you put yourself into a certain state.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, yeah.
And then you sort of have the feeling that you get help from the group mind or whatever, wherever it comes from, you know. Yeah,
you go into it and then you come out of it thinking, oh, what's been created there? It almost feels like not me, not you. It's something interesting about it. Yeah, it's fascinating. Yeah. It's a fascinating space. Yeah.
I was drifting off to sleep last night, and I came up with a new word, which is spunter. S-P-U-N-T-E-R.
Spunter, and what does it mean?
I don't know.
Oh, you don't know? Brilliant.
I just had to tell you that before our session, but we'll start a new session.
Yeah.
I want to put it in my novel. I want to just put it in, you know. I just say something like I spuntered down to the pub.
Nice,
you know?
I like it.
It's a bit like stumble or scamper.
I like it. Well, you know, I mean, on SoundCloud, every single track from half unusual is half something. So maybe that can be a half spunter, and people can make sense of it what they will. Let's see. Here we are.
Well, I think we should do a tarot reading, don't you? Because otherwise your fans might be disappointed.
That'd be amazing. That would be really amazing. Yes. Yeah.
So what should we do? What would you like? I think it's quite good if there's some desire to know, you know, from you.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, the most obvious one, and it's a really general one, is like what does the future of half unusual hold? You know, it's quite a peculiar old project, and it has a very open frame. It does what it does in a way, but you know, let's see. Let's see if there's anything.
We could do something very, very simple for that. I have to ask: is it going to be a 3-card reading or a 5-card reading? So I'll just ask that. Do I get a 3 or a 5 first? 6, 4, 8, 6, 8, 6, 4, 5. It's going to be a 5-card reading. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to shuffle the pack, and then we're going to look for the death card.
Okay, that comes up.
Because the death card will symbolize change.
Okay.
So the death card, in a sense, is our significator for this question. And when we find the death card, we will take it out of the pack along with the cards clustered on either side of it, right?
Okay.
So in other words, this is what I propose to give it a bit of structure.
Yeah.
So I will find 5 cards clustered around the death card, because the death card is change. And so what this will symbolize is where half unusual has been and where it's going to, right? It's changing to, right? So we'll have sort of like past flowing into future. Does that sound like a reasonable way of doing it?
That sounds amazing. So the middle card is the death card, is that right?
The middle card will be the death card, because that's how I'm going to do it. I'm going to shuffle it, then I'm going to look for the death card.
Sounds great. I like that.
Okay, so please give us a searching the deck reading for the from to status of half unusual. Does that sound okay?
Yeah.
As a framing? Okay.
Sounds good.
Okay, one more little shuffle. And then we're off. Okay, so I'm now looking for the death card. As you can see, I mean, you don't even need to see me doing it. I'm sure you trust me. That I haven't fixed up a fully comprehensible tarot reading under the table. Death card. These are so insanely colourful, these Albano weight cards. Okay, that's the devil. We don't want the devil, we want the death. There he is. So I want 2 on either side. So I'm going 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. I will put these on my magnetic tray. Show you what we've got. They only just fit. 1, 2, 3. And I'm going to... You may be outraged to hear that I'm going to turn the whole reading upside down in a second.
Okay.
This is the basic reading. So there's the death card in the middle.
Okay. Yeah.
Then you've got 5 of cups there.
Yeah.
7 of cups there.
Yeah.
Chariot there.
Yeah.
And the 2 of swords there. Now, because we've got 1, 2, we've got 3 reverse cards. That's more than 50% reverse. I'm going to flip every card because I believe in yin and yang. I don't believe, it's one of my rules of tarot card reading, that I don't want there to be more than 50% reversals.
Okay.
So we'll end up with a reverse death. That doesn't matter because the death card is just a kind of like a placeholder in this reading. Mm-hmm. So, You're gonna suspect that I was like that. I had this under the table, it's all completely fixed because I see marvelous success for half.
Excellent. That's what I wanted to hear. That was the right answer.
So here we have the past.
Yeah.
Here we have the future, and the death card is the present. In other words, the moment of change,
sure,
the moment,
that makes sense.
the moment that we are going through, because death is this process of death and harvest and so forth. I can't quite. I'm going to have to look at this because I can't really read it if I'm not looking at it.
It's fine.
But so we've got your 2 past cards. Okay. So on a very, very basic level of tarot reading, 1 meaning for each card, you could say that the 5 of cups is the card of disappointment.
Okay.
There are 3 spilt glasses of wine, goblets of wine, but the figure behind him or her is 2 goblets that aren't spilled. So that's disappointment, but all is not lost.
Sure.
And then the 7 of cups is, it's choice. It's almost like being a bit kind of, what's the word in German, over-challenged, like embarras de choix in French. Too much choice. Which path do I go down, Should I do this, should I do that, should I do this, should I do that? So that's the feeling of the past.
Okay, interesting, yeah.
The future's kind of interesting because you've got your, you've got your fortune teller's moment, which is you've got your chariot here, which is the card of progress. And chariot is the word from which we get the word career, right?
Okay, yeah.
Chariot is the career because the chariot is careering round the arena. So this is a card of getting yourself armor, and the armor is the persona and the energy, the positive and negative energies. This is your battery of understanding the positive and negative energies of life, and that gives you, and this powers the chariot. So it's an image of forward movement in the world. So it is, in a sense, the progress, in material terms, clicks, monetization. So it's an earthly success card.
Okay.
Interestingly enough, though, it's not just a boring fortune telling reading. It's got complexity in it because you've got a reversed 2 of swords, and I think that's where we're going to find an interesting message for you here. So I just have to not be very clever and just tell you what I see. Which is, we had the 2 of swords earlier on.
We did, yeah. No, that's interesting, yeah.
Which was the fact that my task today is to hold it all together because my stomach feels strange. I've been to the DIY shop and I'm a bit mad today. But this is reversed, right? So the 2 of swords is someone who is trying to hold everything together, and there's it's a card of stress. It's a card of stress because it's good to hold things together, but not if it's really stressing on you. And as you can see from this illustration, this is a young woman holding enormous heavy swords.
Sure.
And each one is like going off at an angle. And you get to the feeling of how long can she hold that for?
Sure.
Not really very long. So that's the stressful holding of things together. And that's a reversal. Now, with me, reversals aren't negatives. They just negate the original image or upset it or or give you the negative of it. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So we can do anything we like with this. But what I would get would be that you can, or that you will, let go of stress.
Okay.
In this project. In other words, it feels like hopefully it might the word I want to say is it might do itself, it might if we're kind of looking for a bit of success, mm-hmm. and it might be that it takes care of itself.
Sure.
Without you having to maintain a position of stressful holding it together.
Okay, that's really interesting. That is really interesting because it's what it says to me straight away, it is quite a stressful project in a way, because it's enormously long. It's way more than 10 years already. And there's not an awful lot of success, but at the same time, I want to hold true to it being what it needs to be, and what I want it to be, which is interesting stuff around sound. So I don't want to kind of take a route of selling out is the old term, isn't it? Just kind of making it more appropriate for a taste sort of thing, just so that it gets more clicks and views. It's kind of, that's not really what it's about, because then I'll be doing something I don't want to do, although it'll be successful, and that's definitely not the way I want it to go. So that is interesting that there's this that yes, it does have its own energy in a way, which is that kind of the chariot card. And it's nice to hear that the cards are saying that that's I guess hold that line in a way, kind of, that's okay, kind of, even though it's stressful and you sort of think, I wish this were going better after all this time. There's a sense in which it doesn't matter, it's kind of, if there's one person that gets something from something that I do, then that's great. If
well, also, in terms of these cards, I guess you could say that you are here on the timeline.
Sure.
Okay. So that's what it's been like.
Yeah.
And that's what it's going towards,
Yeah, interesting. Yeah.
So it feels like you could relax.
Yeah, so that sounds good. It's interesting also because the first two, the past, it tells the story of how half unusual came about, which is relatively interesting if you like. It used to be a duo, and so I used to work very closely with someone, and kind of we created some great music. It was really good, but then he got busy and kind of went on to do other stuff, and it left me on my own sort of thing. Okay, I'm not sure what to do with this, because it worked really well as a duo. So that's why half unusual was born, and it was deliberately half of the old duo. So there's an interesting story about its very genesis, and it was disappointing, kind of like it was doing some really interesting stuff, and it was disappointing to have to draw back from a duo and become a solo artist, but that's the way it went, and that's what I've been working on. So yeah, it's interesting. Yeah,
very good.
Yeah, good cards.
Yeah, very good cards.
Yeah, no, that's it. That's interesting. Yeah. And the two is interesting because it's interesting that it already came up for you earlier on as well, which is that's interesting. Yeah.
That's why you should always start with a complete deck so that cards can reappear.
I liked how you asked the cards whether to do a 3 or a 5, and you didn't make that decision. I thought that was, there's something kind of interesting about letting it do what it does. It's nice.
Well, I'm very interested in because I suppose more towards the control freak side of people. I'm very interested in trying to give as much authority to the cards as I can in terms of process. Because another spread which I kind of invented is this idea of allowing the cards to ask the questions. You know.
Yeah. I like that.
What we could do is just do that with half unusual, because or with anything you like. And I do this with my monthly readings. I say to the cards, could you tell us 3 questions for the month ahead, for the month of whatever, or 3 or 4 questions, and so I don't even ask the questions anymore.
That's nice. I like that. Yeah, that's nice.
Cards ask the questions.
Well, it'd be nice to know what the questions are for half unusual. So
yeah.
I mean, answers are a little bit closed, aren't they?
Well, sure. Let me see. Let's do 1, 2, or 3 questions. Let's see what the cards think. Is it going to be 1, 2, or 3 questions? 2. So let's ask the cards what the questions are.
Okay.
And it has to be, the question has to be a major arcana card, a court card, or an ace. So that's about half the pack, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm shuffling. Shuffle.
Sure. Yeah.
And I'm then going to cut and deal some cards for us. And if I deal a minor arcana card, because I don't want to use them for questions, it's too complicated, I'll just discard it and then we'll take the next one. Okay, so
yeah.
I don't particularly need to do this in front of you, but okay, we have a question. But that's not a question. We have 2 questions. Okay. The first card was strength, which is major arcana, so I'm accepting that. Second card was 10 of cups. I'm not accepting that as a question.
Sure.
And the third card was wheel of fortune. Okay.
Cool. Okay.
So we have 2 questions. Strength and wheel of fortune. I can very easily interpret those as questions. So one, what is or are the strengths of the project?
Okay.
2, what is beyond your control? Okay, does that feel interesting?
It does feel very interesting. Yeah.
Fine. So now that we've done that, now I can do classic reading style. I will take the second pack, these, and I'll shuffle them, and then I'll cut into three packs, and you can just 3 piles, and you can decide which pile to use.
Okay.
So you will be involved in this bit. So please give 2 answers to the 2 questions. What are the strengths of half unusual, and what factors are beyond Darren's control? We're going to have 1 card for each of those 2 questions, and I'm going to second. I want to show you the 3 piles. Okay, so that for me is the left.
Yeah, okay.
Middle and right. Which pile would you like?
I'd like to go for the right one, please.
This one, yeah?
Yeah.
So that's the right pile. Put those on top. And then I'm going to get my magnet board out and put the questions at the bottom and the answers at the top.
Excellent.
And if the 2 answer cards are both reversed, I will flip them. They are both reversed and I'm flipping them. Very interesting. Well, I think at the moment, 1 card is super interesting, and the other card is a bit, I don't know, maybe a bit banal. But here are your questions and answers. There's the 2 questions.
Okay.
What are the strengths? or the strength, and what's out beyond your control.
Okay.
That's really interesting.
Okay.
Because the Three of Swords is a feared card, and in old-fashioned tarot reading, it was always a card of kind of like pain and so forth. But in modern tarot reading and in my tarot reading practice, it's difficult conversations that are essential for progress. Okay, because all the threes are progress.
Okay.
So in order to deal with the Three of Swords, you have to be prepared, in a sense, to deal with things that first you might not want to deal with particularly, but also what I'm getting in this circumstance is that what generally other people might not deal with.
Yeah.
So in other words, it's an intellectual courage in a way. And maybe I'm relating that to the Strength card, which is about forms of courage.
Sure. I mean, that makes an awful lot of sense. I mean, I was saying earlier on that sometimes I'd feel a little bit nervous for putting something out because it's like, is this too much? But then there's something about, no, do it. There's a lot of Nike energy that goes into the half unusual releases. It's kind of like, just do it, just do it, and see what happens. What's the worst that could happen? And so sometimes I do feel very exposed in the oddness, in the strangeness, and so that's interesting. That really resonates.
Yeah. In my experience, also of Three of Swords, that it can be that you get misunderstood by people, or you get kind of like feedback that you didn't particularly want to get. But it's all about a three, and there is no progress without a three. There's no progress for anyone. So, and it's a very strong card.
I do get quite a lot of bemused feedback. That kind of what's the point? Why are you doing this? To which I go, I am. It's like, so that it's kind of like, I value your your bemusement, but in a funny sort of way. That's the whole point. It's got, it's interesting.
And what's beyond your control? Well, the Five of Battens is the card of struggle, really, and so I suppose maybe it's a timing thing. I mean, there's a certain amount of going around in circles in the Five of Battens here. A hits B and B hits C and C hits D, and there's a slight feeling of futile struggle, and so I suppose it may be that I wanted to say work, but also the interesting thing about the Five of Battens is there's almost something quite sporting about it.
It sounds like the algorithm.
It sounds like playing the system in a way. And what the algorithm is beyond your control, isn't it? Because it's the strangest thing.
It's the oddest thing, and everyone's trying to crack it, and no one seems to be able to. It's kind of, it's interesting.
It does its weird things, like 2 years later it gives you a hit.
Sure.
Old video, now 26,000 views.
Yeah, I have a video that I released a couple of days ago on TikTok. I have a little TikTok kind of thing going on, which I'm just fascinated by the format. And it's done quite well, and you think, why that one? It's as unusual as any of the other ones, and it's just, I'm really at a loss as to why that one's hit, and but it's just the way it is, and you think, okay, interesting. Interesting.
But I suppose this thing of A hitting B and B hitting C and C hitting D, that's a bit like, because the algorithm is this, it's like knocking over dominoes, isn't it? That one day you wake up and you're the top TikToker in the whole world.
Sure.
You didn't do anything particularly, but it just like the dominoes fell down. And
sure. Yeah. It feels like there's a lot of chance, and that's interesting actually. I've just made a link. that for me in the half unusual project, there's an awful lot of chance, a bit like kind of allowing the cards to choose your questions for you. There's definitely a lot of chance, a lot of random elements in the patches that I make and the music that I make and so on and so forth. So there's something about, I want it to be out of my control, you know, kind of it's, I want it to do something interesting, like find the edges of the machine, if you like. So well,
that's another very interesting thing about tarot, is that sometimes question and answer they blend into a sort of a symbiosis, because you could say something slightly different from this. You know, I said that this has the element of sport to it. A game, this card sometimes. You could say, well, for Darren, being out of control is the game.
Yeah, interesting. I mean? Yeah,
even
that's
though we
interesting.
Said, what is out? We asked you what's beyond Darren's control.
Yeah.
But then we also get, you can also read it sort of you can reverse it. You know.
That's the whole point. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah.
That's nice. What's out of control? Well, the fun is the thing that's out of control and
that's
out of control.
Yeah. That's fascinating. That's definitely. On point for the half unusual project. It's not easy to summarize. It's not, you know, it's quite an odd kind of thing to want to do. So yeah, interesting. Yeah, fascinating. My jaw has dropped to the floor.
It clatters to the floor, and as everyone can see, the demon has appeared in a pillar of smoke.
Yes, thank you. We'll AI that in later. I'll have fun with that moment.
Good. Yes.
No,
you make that into a short. That moment.
Absolutely. Brilliant. That's really interesting. Really interesting. And you know, it's kind of whether or not it's spooky, whether or not it's drawing on deep kind of like universal wisdom. It's made us both think about half unusual in a way that's taken us out of inside it. So yeah,
exactly. It's given us a really good conversation, and and I also think it is good for artists, you know, because, and also I'm always outraged when artists don't for example don't hold with the tarot, that won't touch it and get cross if you do it, because I think, what are you talking about? The whole of the art practice is a surrealistic ritual. I mean, what are you talking about? You know, since when was tarot not perfect for artists?
Sure, yeah. No, nice. And how's your own Two of Swords? Because obviously you sat down as Two of Swords. So what's happened to that? Do we need to pick another card to know, or?
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
Because I'm kind of interested. It's interesting. Yeah.
I could say, let's do another me, Darren, and the reading. Please. Also have to be nice to the spirit guides, because I think the spirit guides are. I'll tell you what I think. I think that the whole universe is alive with consciousness, and the whole of there are so many disembodied intelligences, like popping around in our living rooms, because all the atoms are conscious.
Sure.
So I think I actually think you might as well speak to them like you'd speak to a real person. So try to be polite. Please give us a second me, Darren, and the reading to show if we've changed during the reading.
Because interestingly, as you know, part of my background is in education, so there's something about, if you're doing a session, you know, you open up by saying, where are we? You know, you do something, and then at the end you go, well, did we get somewhere else? So yeah,
very good. Yeah. Very good. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4. Just looking for my magnetic buttons. So I'm in the bit better shape here. I've turned into the page of rods, the Page des Stäbe, and you've turned into the Hermit, which is very nice. Sort of like looking inside, a bit of contemplation there, looking at your own personal truth in the lantern there.
Nice.
And the conversation has turned into the two of world-beating two of batons, which is Alexander the Great conquering the whole world. So it's turned into a marvelous triumph. But for me, trying to be serious here, Page of Rods is someone who goes out and looks for opportunities. So that's a slightly more comfortable card to be in. I mean, I'm not going to, what's the word? I'm not going to conquer the world this afternoon.
Sure.
But that's a more comfortable costume to be wearing.
Okay.
And what did you have? You had the King of Swords before. So you were the wise peacemaking monarch when we started, and now you're the wise inward looking hermit.
So either way wise, that's nice.
Either way wise.
I'll take
I could tell you more about the King of Swords, but I see it as an Aquarian card. But you're not an Aquarian, are you? You're Sagittarian.
No, Sagittarius, yeah.
I see King of Swords as Aquarian qualities of being forward-looking and just interested in ideas and things like that.
Okay.
And
the Alexander the Great card, that's good, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, this is the card of dominion. This is the card of being on top of things in my vocabulary. And Pamela Collins-Smith, she did envisage that as Alexander the Great. She's holding the globe. It's one of those strange cards which has a certain kind of richness, because Alexander the Great apparently was quite melancholy at the end of his life because he'd done so much, and he was like, is that all I'm going to achieve? So there's a slightly sort of insatiable feeling about that card, but it's a very strong card of getting on top of the situation.
Cool. So that means this is going to be an amazing video. People are going to love it.
Means it's a triumph.
Let's see.
Howling triumph.
Well, they can like it, can't they?
They can click it and like it.
Brilliant.
Apparently
that's
we've got 8 minutes left, so yeah. Very good. Well,
that's really good.
We held it all together, didn't we?
Absolutely. Well, let's see what comes out in terms of the video.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, I'm definitely up for another chatter. So I really enjoyed that. I thought that was really fascinating. And there's something about how the cards work and how it kind of like it seems to link very closely to how I think about kind of sound and so on. Yeah, it's fascinating.
Yes. Yeah. Interesting. I sort of as a meta question, I'm wondering whether we're going to have 80 minutes of material, aren't we? Because it's 2 times 40.
Yes, yeah, but we'll need to shave that a little bit to
we shave it a little bit. So my question is, because some of the YouTubers I watch, they do a long live thing, and they release the whole live thing, and then they also release sort of shorter versions or segmented versions.
Sure.
So maybe I'll try to make the first cut without streamlining it too much.
Yeah.
Because there's this. I think the one of the nice things about YouTube is that it's real. It's not the BBC.
Sure. Yeah, if people want to watch the whole thing, they can, and then they can skip bits and whatever. But yeah, I'll probably make a shorter version too. The reading and I think there's plenty of material there, isn't there? So yeah, let's see where it leads. And obviously some glitchy type stuff, and obviously when the devil appears. I'm just wondering whether I'm gonna, because when I make my regular videos, I do quite a lot of like chop to make it more flowing and in a way faster, because I don't want to bore people, and I want to be someone who presents, for example, if I'm teaching, I want to present the teaching material so that people can tune in and get it without me humming and hawing. But I'm just wondering, I'm going to watch this and I'm going to see this is a conversation, and I'm going to try not to glamorize it too much. In other words, I'm going to try not to make myself
look cleverer and quicker than I am, which is what I do in most of it. You know what I mean?
Sure. Yeah.
I try to make myself look like I'm not thinking.
Yeah, and also in within the theme of being out of control, there's something quite nice about letting the viewers decide what's interesting and what's not. They can always skip on, it's fine.
Exactly.
Yeah, I like that. I like that.
So well, maybe I'll try and make the long one as long as I dare.
Sure.
And then there will be, if anyone's watching this, there will be shorter edits.
Yes.
Very short little shorts.
Yes, and if you made it this far on the long one, thank you very much.
You deserve a medal.
You deserve a medal, thank you. Wonderful.
Nice to see you.
Yeah, lovely to see you too. Thank you so much for the readings and the conversation. Always a pleasure. So yeah, I'll see you soon.
See you soon.
Yeah.
Okay.
Take care. Bye bye. Bye bye.